Altcoins are in their buy zones, coming off the lows. We're gonna go over a couple coins, GRT, the Graph, and Helium today. What I have in mind, what I'm expecting from these coins. As you know, I've been following and posting GRT for a while now, and it looks like it is confirming this extremely bullish 1112 setup. Now up here at $3, where we peaked in the last bull run, we have a very clean 5-wave move down in an A, retracing a 3-wave move for a B, and a beautiful 5-wave impulse down in a C, completing a 3-wave zigzag pattern, touching the 1.618 extension on the wave C perfectly. Off that low, we have a beautiful impulse to the upside and a very long retracement for our initial 1-2. After that, it can only be counted as another 1-2. And after that, we have another 5-wave impulse and just finished our zigzag down in our third and final 1-2. Now this was very close to being invalidated if we would have taken the low here of the second wave at 14 cents. But we didn't. It was a very deep wave too. And if price did dip below this, it would have been a very bad bearish situation. And the count coming off the lows really wouldn't have made too much sense at all, but it would have been highly bearish. Now that we have confirmed this 3-wave move, triple 1-2, we can expect nothing but explosivity to the upside. We should be starting our final and most powerful moves to the upside. A 3 of a 3 of a 3, including that within Bitcoin as well. Now if we take a look at Solana just briefly, we didn't even have this sort of triple 1-2 on Solana, though we had a very nice big double 1-2 and a very explosive 3, which already played out. Now in a few of my previous videos I mentioned GRT is following Solana's trail. And this is exactly the setup that Solana gave, but this one is actually a more powerful setup. We can expect off these lows a 5-wave move into our 3, a pullback into a 4, another 5-wave move into a 3, completing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a classic impulse in our third wave degree of the 1-2 that falls behind the 1-2 that we are currently in. So from here would look like a larger 3, from which we would pull back in another 4 and another 5-wave move to the upside to complete the 1-2 that falls behind that. And this would look like a very large 3rd wave impulse. And we fall back in another correction for a short lived 4 and finish off the bull run with the final 5th move, blow off top. Easily targets in this area of $5 to $7, as we also, those are fairly conservative targets, as it only goes about 100%, 130% above the previous all-time high, which is really nothing if you think of it. Let me get all these squiggles off the chart. Let's take a look at GRT versus Bitcoin. Here on the weekly, we're at range lows where we have been finding support all along since December 2022. Now this is aligning very beautifully as well, and you can only expect at some point that we revisit the range highs at the top of the bull market, and this will, from which you can expect the bull market to eventually end. You can kind of view these charts as oscillators, and we are in a buy territory. Let's take a quick look at Helium. A beautiful 5-wave impulse to the upside, some type of complex WXYXZ correction to get us to the bottom down there at around $1, from which we had a beautiful 5-wave impulse to make our first wave degree. And from there we had a very deep correction of around 75%, which on some charts, Coinbase in particular, we did hit the 618, just not on this chart. You can see we're moving off the lows aggressively. RSI on the weekly is tapped out. It reached a low of 37. Plenty of room to the upside. On the daily, RSI has been creating bullish divergence between these lows here, and also relatively here as well. And that's why you're seeing the move up. Now let's take a quick peek at where this one's heading. This is in a simple 5-wave move to the upside, a single 1-2, which cannot be disregarded because the minimum target is up here at around $100 for this third wave. And off the low, as you can see, that is around a 30x. This coin, I believe, is easily going to $100, which is only a 79% increase from the last cycle. And often at the higher end, we can probably expect around 200 for that final 5th wave. Let's take a quick look at Helium divided by Bitcoin. You can see a pattern here. We're in the support zone. Where do you think we may be heading? We should be heading to resistance. Now this should all pan out in another year or so, but it is something to keep in mind. Also, I wanted to touch on the RSI on the graph as well. Completely tanked down to 39 on the weekly, showing bullish divergence between this low and this low, with a higher low on the RSI. And if you notice volume on the weekly, as we were moving down, sell pressure was moving down, so you can see. And as we have begun to move up, volume hasn't even begun to trickle in yet. Still hasn't even hit the upside. So I believe we do have a very long way to go over the next year or so. And I believe this is the very beginnings of the most strongest impulsive moves that we have yet to see. Everything has been building in a beautiful way based on Elliott waves, especially certain coins like this one, the graph, Helium, and Cardano are just looking beautiful, and we will see.